What's up guys, macadii here, bringing the first battle of the IEP Week 1 tournament. So, the first battle we had is against the Cerulean Aqua Jets, who had quite a scary team, I must admit. I'll leave their draft down in the description below so you guys can check that out and see what sort of mons he could have been bringing. So, obviously you can see what he decided to bring on the screen here. So, in terms of the things I was really worried about, the Chansey and the Rotom making a really strong defensive core that I might not be able to break. So, I ran two Pokemon for that reason. I ran the Chinchino because I knew I could two-shot a Chansey, and also a Rock Blast or any other move, plus a Bullet Seed would be able to KO defensive Rotom as well. So, Liepard Chinchino was definitely a good thing to bring. The other thing I did as well was swapped out my Darmanitan U draft. I decided to go pick up Toxicroak instead as a free agent, mainly because it sort of complemented the team a bit more. I had more opportunities for sort of setup mons and things like that, which my sort of current draft was really quite lacking in. The other advantages as well is that I could run Lumberry on that, and that meant I would, once I got Swords Dance up, which I was almost guaranteed to because I could obviously heal up any Willows and also any T-Waves from the Chansey. Gunk Shot would KO the Rotom and also I'd outspeed, and also I could KO the Chansey from there. So it was an absolutely excellent mon to pick up, and I was sort of a really good backstop in case I was really struggling with that core. In terms of his Mega choice, I was really worried he was going to bring that Mega Abomasnow, mainly because it works pretty well around my team. I did have to run HP Fire on my Venusaur for that reason, but obviously if it was a physical set with Earthquake, my defensive core really sort of struggled with that quite a lot, but luckily he decided not to bring it. Mega Diancie was not much of a threat at all. I mean, even this is how crazy defensive Venusaur was. It would only do about 30% with Earth Power, and I think that was probably its most powerful move that it normally ran. So I could completely wall it with Venusaur, so I wasn't too worried about that. So what I identified once I saw his matchup was that the Golbat and the Liepard were obviously going to present problems with Toxicroak from sweeping. So I decided that was going to be my main focus to sort of beat those. I also noticed he had no Volt Switch resistances really. So, no, at all really. So Heliolisk was going to be really key as well. So I decided to lead off with the Heliolisk. As we're going to just run through the battle. So I led off with the Heliolisk, he led off with the Chandelure. Now, this was a really tricky choice for me, because I could either stay in, predicting him to go for a Shadow Ball, because I knew for a fact this was probably Scarfed, looking at his team. So he had a bit of a choice. He could either go for the Shadow Ball here, to predict the Heatran switch, which was a really quite an obvious switch, or he could go for the Fire Blast, KO Zipper from there, but obviously risk getting the Flash Fire boost on the Heatran. So it was a really tricky choice for him, and I decided that he'd probably want to play it safe in this first turn and go for the Shadow Ball, just because it was very unlikely I was going to be staying in. So I decided to make that prediction, and I stayed in as he went for the Shadow Ball, and I was able to then get a really powerful Volt Switch off. I knew for a fact that he was locked now into Shadow Ball, and even though I could outspeed with Fabulous, so I decided to go for the Rock Blast here, because I knew that the Rock Blast Bullet Seed combo would be able to take out this Rotom, but unfortunately I do miss, which means I do have to then switch back out into Venusaur, as he does end up just going for the Hydro Pump, which is fair enough. So he does end up switching out here, because obviously I completely wall him with Venusaur, as I Mega up here, and I do go for the Leech Seed, which meant that, because I knew for a fact he was probably going to be switching out, and it meant I could get that little bit of health back, and I could go out into Heatran, because that completely walled the Golbat. He does go for the Super Fang, which I know for a fact that outside of sort of loads of Super Fangs and Brave Birds, this Golbat couldn't really touch me. He does make a bit of a misplay there, going for the Toxic, as I managed to get my Stealth Rocks up as well, which I know he is most likely his Defogger, but it meant he'd have to waste another turn doing that while I could potentially burn him. He does end up switching back out into the Rotom as I get the Lava Plume off, and unfortunately I don't get the burn there, but he is going to force me out here, as luckily I do have the Mega Venusaur still here, so I can go out into that, as he does go for the Will-O-Wisp here, which is an excellent play on his part, considering I was in on the Heatran as well. He risked giving me the Flash Fire boost, as he does go for the Volt Switch here, to obviously hop back out, as he goes out into the Liepard here, and I think I just went for another Leech Seed, because I knew this burn was going to wear me down, so I wanted to just sort of heal up as much as possible. I did have the Synthesis on this as well, So my aim was to sort of try and keep that as much health as possible. He does make an excellent player going for the copycat there, predicting the switch, as unfortunately it does miss for him. He does go for the Sucker Punch to get the maximum amount of damage off, but I calced it, and I knew for a fact that Volt Switch would KO from there. So that was good. That was one Toxicroak counter out of the way. I realised from there that I outsped everything else, so I could go out into Fabulous. Now, he decided not to Mega Up here, thinking he'd be able to take out, he'd be able to handle the Bullet Seeds. But unfortunately, the sheer power of Fabulous manages to break through, and we do KO him from there. And he goes out into the Rotom thinking he can take a Bullet Seed, but unfortunately I do about 75 to 80%, something like that, which is absolutely disgusting. Considering this is defensive Rotom as well, I couldn't believe that. He goes out into the Chandelure. I know for a fact he's Scarfed, and he has to go for the Fire Blast here, so I can go out into Heatran, as he does go for the Energy Ball, possibly predicting, I'm not really sure what he was predicting there, but it probably was his only real play to guarantee some damage off. He goes out into the Chansey, as we go for the Roar, because I want to start getting some Rocks damage off on the Chandelure, because I know for a fact this Chandelure can't do a huge amount. There is a chance he'd trick me, and he does end up tricking me this turn, which is fair enough. I'm not too fast, because my Heatran can't really wall anything else, and all I need to do is just start sort of cycling around and weakening him up, sort of softening up for the rest of my team. I do make a play go out into Zipper, predicting the Defog, as he goes to the Toxic, which I'm not too sure about. I think the Rocks would have been a better play, considering how low his Chandelure is. He'd be able to get another switch in. As I go for the Volt Switch here, obviously, because the Golbat has to then make that choice. I go out into Tickler here, set up that Swords Dance, as he goes for the Stealth Rocks here. And I can then go for the Drain Punch, KO that, and it's pretty much the game over from here, because the Golbat comes out. I couldn't go for another Drain Punch. I had to risk it with the Gunk Shot, but to be honest, I had loads of Pokemon in the back, so I wasn't too worried about that. So he goes out into the Chandelure as well, and that obviously KOs to Rocks, and that is the end of the game. So that was a really excellent match. Chinchino put in a lot of work and actually showed me that it's incredibly valuable for my team. But the amount of coverage it's got, and also its really key speed tier, meant it was really important, and it's definitely something I need to always consider in the future. Okay, so obviously this is only the first battle of this week, so what will happen is the second battle will be coming up on Sunday tomorrow, so I shall see you guys all there. Macadii out.